is Kainoa Dames, and this is...
I'm Desiree Moana Cruz, Hawaii Island Commissioner for the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission.
I'm honored to be the chair of the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission, representing the Royal Order of Kamehameha, and you're joining us live at the King Kamehameha statue in downtown Honolulu. Because of COVID restrictions this year, although it's been announced today that Honolulu are all who is Tier 4, planning takes a long time for this event, so we're planning it in a very COVID-safe way. We wanted to bring it to you in your safe and comfortable homes.
Speaking of snacks.
Snacks are included. So anyway, we're going to turn it over now. We're going to start the celebration as we celebrate the 149th annual King Kamehameha celebration. Aloha and welcome.
Aloha.
You're up. You're up.
And then at the ending, if you guys can, for a couple seconds. Great job.
Thank you.
At the ending, and no need if you don't want to, but at the ending, I would stay in place for a couple
Okay, yeah,
seconds.
sorry.
You want to sit on there? Oh,
That was
sorry.
me.
I thought it was going to start blowing too.
Okay.
Now we're beginning the conch blowing of the 149th annual
King Kamehameha celebration.
This is Mr. Elijah McShane, who's joined us today to offer us a protocol. Mahalo, Elijah, for joining us.
And accompanying Elijah there on the mound are 6 young men from Kamehameha Homestead, which sits right up on the hillside of Kuolai.
And this year celebrates the 100th anniversary of the signing of the Homestead Act, and our theme, had we been able to do parade, was Na'aina Ho'opulapula, celebrating the good works of Prince Kalani Ole.
Yes, and setting up the Department of Hawaiian Homeland,
Yeah.
setting aside those lands for the rehabilitation of the Hawaiian.
He actually brought the parade and festivities back to life so many years ago. We're grateful for his hard work in the community, with the Hawaiian Civic Clubs, with the Homestead Act, as well as the founding of the Royal Order of Kamehameha, and this, our celebration here that we love so much, the King Kamehameha celebration.
Yes, we have a lot to be thankful for, to Prince Kuhio and to all of our.
And our main elite we're celebrating today, King Kamehameha. This is the school named in his honor. This is the Kamehameha Schools, led by CEO Jack Wong, only being provided by Kau'i Burgess. So here, the leadership of the Kamehameha Schools to offer their lei la'i, their lei ho'okupu today.
Yes, and that includes campuses, not only at Kapalama
Right.
here in Honolulu, but also the Hawaii campus up in Kea'au, and also in Maui up in Kula.
Yeah,
Beautiful campuses
absolutely.
and tons of preschools.
Preschools all over the islands.
I think there's also pre-K.
We want to thank Kamehameha Schools as one of our sponsors today for this year's celebration. Big mahalo to them as they help us to continue celebrating the legacy of the school's namesake, founded by the great-granddaughter of King Kamehameha, Princess Bernice Pauahi Bishop, in 1887. So here again we have Ocean Kawili and Kavika Villa of Fire Station 24 on Date Street in Mo'iliili, here to help us with the gentleman from Papakolea. So normally you might be used to the fire truck being here, but again with some COVID restrictions, and we wanted to alleviate a lot of people coming down, we opted with the mayor, discussions with the mayor, Mayor Blangiardi, not to have the fire truck, and instead the traditional low, the poles that are often used, they are used traditionally in
Picking
Kohala.
mango.
Picking mango.
Picking mango, picking
And
ulu.
closing shutters in the elementary school
Yes.
classrooms.
The low is typically a picking stick.
Yep.
And so it's being implemented here at the lei draping to put the lei place.
It's a draping stick,
To
a
drape
placing
them.
stick.
And so once again, these are young men from Papakolea Hawaiian Homestead, and this kuleana to assist with the lei draping has been the kuleana of the Papakolea community for several years now. And so it's so nice to see a young group of Hawaiian men stepping up to embrace this kuleana. And we are looking forward to having them this year and also in the years to come. And a big mahalo to Auntie Faith from Papakolea for corralling and securing these young men.
And it's been years, the Papakolea Community Association, they have a seat on the commission as well and have had one for many years. And so grateful to see them for so long. Uncle George Kaniho of Papakolea used to manage the mound as the sort of architect, the kahuna kuhi kuhi puone, as the lei were draped. Again, in the past, it was the Honolulu Fire Department, and they'll be back next year, and Ocean and Kavika represent that, and we had some gentlemen here earlier, because we're just starting the live broadcast now.
Yes.
But we've been draping lei, as you can tell, from 10 o'clock this morning, so community organizations far and wide have been coming by.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to a few more that we'll be capturing here. Looking forward to the lei Puamelia from the Ahahui Ka'ahumanu. Will be thousands of flowers, thousands of blossoms.
Iconic plumeria lei.
Yeah, I feel that Kamehameha Day and the plumeria go hand in hand.
Yes, they go
Spirit
hand
to
in
fist.
hand. Yes. Yeah. And actually, so speaking of all the preparation that went into creating this celebration, there's also celebrations statewide. So yesterday in Hilo, at the Hilo statue, there was a celebration at 5 p.m., a lei draping that was beautiful and just so wonderful to be there, very emotional and just beautiful. So Hilo statue has lots of tea leaf lei and also puakenikeni and gardenia and orchids, because those in fact are the things that are blooming right now in Hilo.
Yeah, Hilo looked great last night, and I think we were live on Olelo as well via Naleo. So mahalo to Naleo last night for helping broadcast that through Olelo. And so I think now we're live on Naleo on the island of Hawaii.
Oh, are we?
So good morning to the island of Hawaii.
Well, I can say hello to my family.
Say hi to the O'Connors in Pauka'a.
Aloha to my family in Pauka'a, and aloha to all of the people of Moku o Keawe. So right now, although the Hilo statue was draped yesterday, late afternoon, today in Kohala, beginning this morning at 5 a.m. in North Kohala, they held their lei draping ceremony. And if you've never had the opportunity to go to lei draping in Hilo or Kohala, I encourage you to do so, because it's just as beautiful and has a little different vibe.
Yeah, each statue I think has its own flavor from the neighborhood that embraces that statue. Just for everyone for the future, June 10th generally at 5 o'clock every year is the Hilo lei draping. Kohala is generally and always on the 11th. No matter what day of the week, it's always on the 11th. And Honolulu is generally the Friday closest to the holiday.
Yeah.
So it kind of mixes it up.
Yeah.
So
some of the other activities that happen annually are, so in Hilo we have the lei draping, usually the day before, in the afternoon, and then on the day of, there's the ho'olaulea at Moku'ola.
Yeah, put on by the Royal Order of Kamehameha. It's a beautiful festival of music, hula, crafting, and that's what happens throughout the state. You know, in Kona there's a parade. Often the same weekend as Honolulu, followed by ho'olaulea. Maui has a parade. Yeah, Hulihe'i Palace, they open it up. Maui has a parade, usually the week after. And they have a ho'olaulea under the banyan tree. I mean, so we have a lot to look forward to next year. Molokai has a rodeo now this year too.
Yeah, they have a rodeo
this year. I'm so excited. 2-day rodeo, yesterday and today. And so they're looking at making that an annual event. So we'll see about next year. But I'm excited that Molokai is joining us in celebrating as well.
Kauai as well.
Kauai has a parade also. Mahalo for that. They have a parade. Kauai Museum gets very involved. The Royal Order of Kamehameha Kaumoali'i chapter.
Beautiful
very involved.
lei presentation at the Kauai Museum.
Yep. So we have celebrations throughout the Pai'aina. In fact, this morning, Desiree and I were on a flight with Congressman Kahele. in
That
Washington.
good-looking
From
Hawaiian.
Washington, D.C. He's also a pilot for Hawaiian Airlines. So he was headed
Yes.
to work. But
And a congressman.
We were talking story about doing some things in Washington, D.C. as they do have their own lei draping there in D.C. And just as a side note, so the statue in Kohala is the original statue.
Yes.
The statue here in Honolulu is a replica mold from the same mold of Kohala.
Yes.
And the statue in Washington, D.C. is a mold of this one here in Honolulu. They put like a casing around it, if you will, to
hot wax.
Sure, hot glue. And so that was the creation of the Washington, D.C. statue. The statue in Hilo
Is a little taller.
a little broader perhaps,
Yeah.
and was meant for the island of Kauai. The
Yes, and-
Princeville Corporation made that.
Yes.
Did
yes.
you know?
I did
Yeah.
know that.
So it was originally meant for Princeville, and the people of Kauai thought, no, we're good.
They
We're
felt
okay.
that the statue of Kamehameha would be more appropriate
Yeah.
in Hilo as and on Hawaii Island
Right.
as King Kamehameha was born in Kohala
Mm-hmm.
and raised in Kohala. And then when he united the islands, his kingdom, his capital rather, was in Hilo. And then he chose to spend his final days in Kona.
Kona, yeah.
So the people of Kauai, I believe they gifted the statue.
To the Kamehameha Schools Alumni Association Mamalahoa or Hilo chapter
Yes.
a few years back, and they fundraised.
They did incredible
Amazing work
amount
to
of work
bring that statue from one end of the island chain to the other.
to the other, and it sits in the Wailoa Park, and it looks right across to Hilo Bay, and it's a wonderful, wonderful addition to Hilo. And people go by not only on Kamehameha Day, but year round. People will come and bring lei. They'll bring other ho'okupu, they'll bring floral displays. Sometimes you'll see a pumpkin or a zucchini. I know.
I've seen a jack-o'-lantern or two.
Bananas.
People bring, they give with their hearts. We
crystals.
appreciate that.
We do appreciate
Burning
a
candles, all kinds of stuff.
sincere offering.
So that
honor
happens
of the
throughout
king.
the year. And
Yes.
but yeah, this time of the year, this is the king that unified the islands from about the late 1780s, completing the task in 1810. And we're proud to serve on this commission that was founded by the territory of Hawaii in 1939. So
Wow.
we haven't been on the commission quite that long.
But my grandmother was already born.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
great-grandfather was on
Actually,
the commission.
most of her children were already
There you
born.
go. So my great-grandfather was a Royal Order Commissioner on Maui back in the
okay.
50s and 60s. So he also put on the Kahului Parade back in the day.
Yes.
So we are, Desiree and I, living our legacy.
I love that. I love being able to join in and participate in this as a Hawaiian woman. And I also really enjoy encouraging the next generation to jump in.
Yeah, and I think that's a great comment, especially we see these boys from Papakolea joining us back on the mound as we wait for the next group to bring lei, to bring their ho'okupu, that, this doesn't just carry on magically. It
Yes.
doesn't just happen, that we need everybody's support, everybody's help, and
we
we look
welcome.
forward to it. Yep, we
Yep.
welcome it. If anybody wants to get involved, you can send us an email, kkcc@hawaii.gov.
Yep.
If
And
you'd like to participate, be involved in whatever way, whatever capacity.
there's ways you can be involved in a small way. You can be involved in the day of, or you can serve as a commissioner. You can be voluntold.
Volunteering, voluntolding,
Voluntold.
voluntelling. We have so many
Yep.
needs for help. Some of our up-and-coming bright shining stars like Wa'okaena Kirkland,
Yes.
who's off camera right now, but we appreciate her and all of her. We don't need that. Oh my
gosh.
Well, mahalo
Oh.
for that blast. I think we just sharded
in honor
sorry,
of the king.
Sorry.
In honor.
Oh, my heart just skipped a beat.
And
Excuse me.
I want to mention about our lovely young O'Kaena
Okay.
Kirkland, that she's really well known for being a beautiful pa'u rider.
She does ride
She
pa'u.
rides almost every year. So you might not recognize her because she's walking around, but usually she's on a horse,
And with drenched in lei.
drenched in flowers and 20 yards of fabric.
Now we have joining us the Royal Order of Kamehameha, Chapter 1, Moku o Hawaii. Led by their I say our as a member of the Royal Order. I represent the Royal Order. This is our Kahuna Pule, Ikaika Bethelina, Chuck Tilton. With Keith Ridley, Renton Matarang, Navahine Hui o Kamehameha. The Royal Order of Kamehameha was founded in April of 1865 by King Kamehameha V, Lak Kapuaiwa. He is also the founder of this holiday. So in the 1870s, the people of Hawaii wanted a holiday to celebrate King Kamehameha V. And as the humble king that he was, he said, no, don't celebrate me, let's celebrate my grandfather instead. So they were going to designate the date December 11th, his birthday, which he then coincidentally passed on the same day. He died on December 11th as well, but his birthday was December 11th. The 5th, Lak Kapuai, and it shows as far away from his birthday as possible, hence the arbitrary date of June 11th. It's not Kamehameha's birthday.
Which a lot of people think.
A lot of people assume, and they're wishing him a happy birthday. Well, my God, we're not 100% sure when he was born, so what better day than today to wish him a happy birthday? However, it's not actually his birthday. There wasn't a, if you will, Western calendar when he was born. So it's believed he was born sometime in the 1750s or 60s.
With the sighting of Halley's Comet.
Aye, so right around that time, it's believed that Halley's Comet made its cameo across the skies as it was prophesied that our king would be born, a unifier of the islands. So again, not his birthday today, but the day nonetheless to celebrate and honor his life and legacy. And that's exactly what the Royal Societies do. And this again, the Royal Order of Kamehameha, named in honor of today's namesake holiday. So the Royal Order consists of 10 chapters across all islands. So yesterday we had the privilege of having chapter 2, Mamalahoa chapter, the Hilo chapter.
Primarily East Hawaii.
In Hilo, yeah, East Hawaii. On the island of Hawaii, they have Hilo, Puna, Waimea, no, Hilo, Kona, excuse me, Puna and Kohala, appropriately so. And just say good morning to our gentleman, chapter 3 on Kauai, chapter 4, Kahikili chapter on Maui, chapter 5 on Molokai, and the 2 other chapters here on Oahu, chapter 6 and 8, the leeward and windward sides of Oahu. And here we have Beverly Lee, Pelekikena of Navahine Hui o Kamehameha.
And a former commissioner.
And a former commissioner. She was actually our vice chair, represented
Yes.
the Kapahulu Music Club, now represented by Kumuhula Kimo Alama. But almost more importantly in some ways, she is our equestrian chair, former Pa'u Queen, I believe in 2003,
Yes.
and equestrian chair for the Honolulu Parade. So we're just blessed to have leadership like Beverly Lee, and we appreciate her so much.
And the wahine next to her.
That's Lena Ala.
It's Lena Ala.
Robello.
From the
From
palace.
the Robello. She works at the palace, but she's also a member of the Navahine Hui o Kamehameha as well. And a longtime writer. I think last parade she wrote Kauai looking resplendent in Mokihana and Poni.
Every last berry.
Every berry from Ale Ale was picked for her lady.
Oh, I just love seeing that Mokihana.
Isn't it lovely?
Yes.
Don't touch it, they're gonna burn you. Careful.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's how my grandmother used
Right?
to always say, beautiful.
Yeah. And goofy. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and
for,
goofy.
for another,
She also
for another
said
day.
goofy. And other, there was another word starts
For
with a
other
P.
people.
in
Oh, okay.
Walelo, Hawaii,
We'll
but
leave that
We'll
alone.
not say that right now. But
So again, this is the Royal Order of Kamehameha, Chapter Honolulu, founded by none other than Lak Kapuaiwa, King Kamehameha V himself.
I
in April
understand.
1865. No, go please.
And I understand that this chapter in particular has some illustrious members.
We have some amazing members. In addition to me,
Ekalamai. In addition to you.
In addition to me. Well, no, for example, Duke Kahanamoku used to be a member. Well, still is, I think, posthumously still a member.
Yes.
Prince Kalanianaole, Prince
love it.
Kuhio,
Yes,
Jonah
Prince
Kuhio
Kuhio.
Kalanianaole was a member of this chapter. Today, though, former Governor Waihe'e, John Waihe'e III,
with his light eyes.
right, lovely
Yes,
Uncle
thank you.
John,
Of
was
Honoka'a.
once is a member. Dr. Michael Chun of the Kamehameha schools. Another one that comes to mind, Prince Quentin Kuhio Kavananakoa, great-grandson of Prince Jonah Kalanianaole. He's a member as well.
Member.
Several others, a very proud chapter.
And your kumu, I
and
believe.
Kumuloea, Kumuhula, John Rankin Kaha'i, Topolinsky,
Yes.
Kapahula, Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah, my kumu.
I understand
I'll claim
also
him.
my cousin who I'll
Who's that?
claim, La'akea
La'akea
Suganuma. I believe
Suganuma.
he's a member.
I think he might be.
Yes.
Definitely, or likely a member of Mama Kakawa as well. They're another commission seat, the
Okay.
Daughters and Sons of Hawaiian Warriors. In fact, both of them are, I believe. Your cousin, I think, is a grandson of none other than Mary Kavena Pukubi. Yeah. And as is my kumua, Kiki Ho'okama.
Oh.
Oh, isn't this lovely? This is just...
Yes, it's a very
Lovely.
sunshiny
only we
day
had
here
an
in
umbrella.
Honolulu. Yes. It's a little warm today. But lovely. A little steamy.
warm. It's warm.
Warm. It's a little moist and warm here in downtown Honolulu.
Thank you for all the honking as everybody's driving by.
Yes, those are acknowledgement to the king.
Yeah, we
Yes,
love that. We
We accept it, a
appreciate
modern day
that.
acknowledgement, if you will.
And we're so again, this year we opted to keep the festivities socially
Intimate.
distant,
Oh.
a little more private. Intimate's a
Intimate,
better word,
yes.
absolutely. Low scale, you know, you may hear the sounds of the Royal Hawaiian Band wafting across the street from the palace grounds.
Waft my
Wafting
name.
Ke Waft My Name as they perform every Friday at noon across the street.
Oh.
And so we're happy to have that music. But normally they'd be here full toot,
Yeah.
playing the music of the ali'i for us. So we're glad to have them, and we really want a big aloha and mahalo to Clint Kalaola. Clint Kalaola is
Mahalo.
the official umbrella carrier for us.
Yes.
We appreciate him. So we're looking forward to Ka'ahumanu joining us in a minute, and if they have any questions, they can ask Clint.
Yeah, and Clint is one of those
He's our parade vice
volunteers.
chair
Oh,
now.
he's the
He
vice
started
chair.
out
As a
riding
s-
pa'u back
oh.
in the day.
On a horse.
On a horse.
Yep.
That's how you ride pa'u.
Yep.
And then he eventually later became now he's our, actually I
Vice
take
chair.
that back. He's
the
parade
chair.
co-chair.
He's a co-chair.
I'm the parade co-chair with him, and I'm so honored to work with him. I've just been blessed. He's
one
part of
of
the
those
family.
Hawaiians you can depend
He
on.
really can. Anything
Yeah.
you need, call Clint.
Call
Anything you need,
Clint.
call Clint. Anybody needs any help, Tidal Wave Entertainment.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We're giving him a
Give
plug.
them his number.
We love him. Call
Call
him up. Tidal
Clint.
Wave Entertainment. Clint Kalaola.
Yes.
We're giving you free commercials. Clint, Tidal Wave Entertainment.
Yep.
KalaFoundation.com.
Yeah.
.org.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we have more.
We want to mahalo Amy Hammond, our executive director
Yes.
of the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission. She is actually the only paid staff we have. Everyone else you see are volunteers, but really for her, it's even also a labor of love.
It is.
So we appreciate Amy and all that she brings to the table. She also puts on the Made in Hawaii Festival,
Which
I think
is
the
a
Kauai Chocolate
huge,
Festival,
successful
the Book and Music Festival. She's very involved in a lot of stuff. So we're glad to have her as our executive director for the last 3 years, I think, or so. And so she's really been an
She's also an
amazing
avid
asset.
sailor. Is it
She
a
is.
sailor?
She's a sail away, sail away,
She's a
sailor,
sailor.
sailor girl.
She
Yeah.
is often on a boat
Right.
in Kaneohe Bay.
Yeah. So we appreciate her
We really
and
appreciate
her
her being here
commitment
today.
to this celebration. So yeah, again, a lot of volunteers. Again, this is Elijah McShane, who volunteered his time today
Yes.
to join us and be our receiver of ho'okupu from the community. And so yeah, a lot of these are everybody's community organizations coming together to offer their ho'okupu. And ho'okupu can be labeled. What else could a ho'okupu be?
A ho'okupu could be a song. It could be an oli,
Right.
a chant. It could be a prayer.
A prayer.
Yep.
Sometimes a hula, but it could also be your presence.
It could be your presence.
Your presence could be the present.
I think the main thing about a ho'okupu is it should be that you're giving something of yourself.
Yeah, your energy, your mana, in exchange for all that Kamehameha did for us.
Yes.
And I think a lot of what we're trying to accomplish here is to maintain his relevancy.
Yes.
A lot of people see this statue, and the first thing that pops into their mind,
Indeed. Hawaii Five-O.
Hawaii Five-O, and that great show, fine. But you know, this is the opening and closing credits. But he is so much more than that, you know. And so our kuleana as the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission, we extend out to everybody to join us you know, not just around June 11th, but throughout the year to celebrate and honor his legacy
Yes.
and memory.
And to learn more about who he was.
Who he was and what did he do for us.
And what he did for us. And, you know, there was a small group of family, a small group or a large family from California
Okay.
that came by and
earlier today.
Earlier today and respectfully asked what's going on.
Yep.
So it really was a nice opportunity to talk with them and to tell them and
What's
share
the
with
haps?
them
Yeah.
about who Kamehameha was, and they were very appreciative, and I'm sure it'll be the highlight of their trip.
I think for everybody, this, you know, for visitors who get to stumble across, you know, normally we have thousands of people gathered here, but for those who kind of stumble across this opportunity, you know, this is how we kind of let Hawaii happen.
Yeah.
This is how we allow, sort of, not allow, but welcome visitors into our home in a respectful way to learn more about who we are as a people and as a place. And so I love that, you know, we have such a variety of people who are here. Again, everybody's socially distanced to maintain some safety.
Yes.
We're grateful that they could make it. And again, in a normal year, and we'll be back on next year for the big 150,
Yes.
we'll have thousands of people here, and we'll be thousands. You know, I forgot the silent H. Thousands of people celebrating over here on all islands.
So, you know, we're flexible.
Yeah.
Although, you know, we're maintaining, upholding, and even creating some new traditions, we're really trying to be flexible and inclusive. And so, like in Hilo, we tried to really be socially distanced. We had a young person as a volunteer who was our COVID officer and just helped be maka'ala or alert in making sure that each of the organizations maintained, you know, a safe and healthy distance between groups. And so, you know, we want this celebration to continue on for the next 150 years and further. And so this is a way for us to contribute to everyone who came before us and
who will
put
come
this
after
together.
us
And
too. Yeah, we look to the past to look forward to help guide us, and so we appreciate again all that Kamehameha did. The law of the splintered paddle, for example, a law he decreed back in 1790, I believe, that spoke to allowing during warfare, allowing kupuna, those who weren't able to fight, if you will, during a battle, to be allowed to lay by the side of the road and not be harmed or hurt. Yeah. And that law actually exists in our current state constitution. And it carried over from the 1790s into our state constitution today. So we still see his good works alive and well. So why not celebrate him every year?
Yes, and I also want to say that it's fun.
It is.
It's
pageantry.
Really, it's a lot of fun.
Well.
And so about 4, 5, or 6 years ago, Kainoa asked me to help in some varying capacities. I started off by helping to carry tables and chairs.
I think so, probably more than that.
And then also it was getting water for people, making lei. And then I started to MC one section of the parade on Oahu. And then when an opening presented itself, I submitted to be the Hawaii Island Commissioner. And so what I can say is it's been a wonderful journey, and it's really helped me to connect more so with our Hawaiian community and to set a good example for my children moving forward.
Yeah.
So once again, we invite all of you to join us in whatever way you can. And even like my neighbor on the Big Island, she annually gives me some flowers to make an arrangement. So do what you can. And
that goes to everybody. Kamehameha wasn't the king of the Hawaiian-blooded people. He was the king of the Hawaiian people, and anybody who lived in these islands at that time were Hawaiian. And so anybody who lives in the state or who has a love for this place can bring lei, should bring lei. You can have a little pageant at your school. My cousin sent me some pictures of my niece in her little Kamehameha set. She's at preschool. Puna's daughter. They had their own little parade at the preschool. Why not? You know, why not do things?
Lots
to
of
celebrate
ways
within your own community.
Yes, to contribute.
So now we have Haleona Ali'i o Hawaii. I believe it's Tai'iku Ha'i Nui, perhaps? Jacob Aki. He actually works in the State Senate. He's the Director of Communications for the State Senate. So
I
grateful
thought
for
his
him.
name sounded familiar.
Two members of Haleona Ali'i, the royal organization that was allegedly believed to have been founded by King Kalakaua as Halinawa to keep and maintain Hawaiian ways, crafts, practices, traditions, arts, absolutely, and was reorganized by the Kavananakoa families. So many of them pay allegiance today to those of the Kavananakoa family. Princess Abigail that's Abigail Campbell Kavananakoa, Wahi Kahu'ula, was one of the founders, or refounders, if you will, of the organization Haleona Ali'i. And they have chapters as well. We got to see the Hilo chapter yesterday. I believe on Oahu there's 2 or perhaps 3 chapters here on Oahu. Maui, Kauai. Molokai has a pretty strong chapter actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know, I've come to understand the relevance, or one of the relevance of the Royal Societies is really to remind all of us to honor our genealogy and to honor
Collectively.
our kupuna collectively. And this is true not only for Hawaiians, for everyone. And I remember Auntie Pua Kanakaole Kanahele,
Yep.
who was my kumu,
Dr. Kanahele.
Dr. Kanahele,
Revered and loved.
saying that when so many like non-Hawaiians are interested and smitten, if you will, with Hawaiian culture, the main lesson to learn is to honor your kupuna.
Yep.
And so, and in that way you make that connection. And it's been said that our kupuna stay with us always and are waiting for us to call upon them. Some people say they're sitting on our shoulders.
I agree.
And you can feel that.
I agree.
Sometimes.
This is kuleana,
Yeah,
or it's a responsibility, but I love that the
and
other
an
part of the
honor.
word is privilege.
Yeah,
It's a privilege, and we take ownership of that. This kuleana that we have, and for those of us involved in the commission and the celebration annually, we feel it. But we'd like to share that privilege, that kuleana, with everybody, and again encourage
to connect,
everyone.
Connect with your ancestors, and there's a thought, a Hawaiian thought, that we have 3 piko.
Yep.
So your first piko is your brain and your head, and that piko or connection
Right here
is
on the top of
connected
your head.
to your ancestors. Your second piko is your literal piko or belly button that connects you to your parents' generation.
Yep. You're the present, your family now.
Right, not just your parents, but their siblings, the generation.
All the makua.
And then your third piko is your reproductive area that connects you to the future and to the future generations.
Those who will come after.
Yep.
Yep.
So if you try to be mindful of that piko, I feel that you can't go wrong. And if you go wrong, you can recover and pull yourself up and keep going, because you're mindful that your responsibility to your past, to the present, and to the future. So
yeah, and that's what we all have, and that's what I believe. This, to us, celebration, honoring those who've come before us. So Kamehameha, we are here to celebrate him, but he represents so much more than that. In fact, in 2006, I believe, or was it 2008, or for a few years, every state was issuing a quarter.
Oh, yes.
And on the back of every quarter was something symbolic of that state. And I remember that there was a sort of, in the advertiser, you could vote. What do you want to have on the back of the state quarter for Hawaii? And if any of you have a state quarter at home, wherever you are, flip that quarter over, and there's one person on the back of that quarter, and that one person represents all of us, regardless of ethnicity, background, how long you've lived here, how many generations, whether it's just got here or it's 100 generations. That one person represents all of us. He's a unifying force in more ways than one, and that's Kamehameha.
In this place.
Yeah.
Yes, Kamehameha.
For us here in Hawaii.
For this place. Mahalo. Thank you for that mana'o.
Little tidbits,
Kainodanes.
little nuggets for you, Desiree Moana
Yes.
Cruz. It's a beautiful, balmy day here
Moist.
it's a little moist this
Steamy.
morning. It was a little drizzly earlier.
Yes.
And we're now feeling the sun extracting that moisture from the grass beneath us.
In a meaningful, steamy
Keeping
way.
us humidified very nicely.
Oh my gosh.
So we're getting ready for the big shebang, if you will. So
Ooh.
for over 100 years, the women of Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu have been stringing lei plumeria here on the grounds of the statue here in Honolulu to make the, if you will, plumeria base of lei that we normally put on the bottom and then put other lei on top. So they will be rolling in with 40 strong. 40 30-foot lei will continue to fulfill, or fill, not fulfill, fill the statue with more lei, and with each flower strung is with their aloha, their mana.
Tradition.
So, yeah, the tradition of over 100 years they've been doing this, and we really appreciate that longevity. So any Hawaiian women wanting to come join, please join.
So many women, or so many people, plumeria is their favorite lei. And the plumeria or puamelia grows best on the leeward sides of the island. So you'll see this puamelia or plumeria on the leeward coast. You see it all over Lahaina. Lahaina has gazillion, every color, every shape of plumeria.
For our Pacific Island friends, frangipani.
Frangipani.
The frangipani is also the name that sometimes used.
Kona has lovely
farms. There's beautiful. Molokai is a beautiful plumeria farm. Waianae. Haleiwa has. Pupukea. There's plumeria everywhere. Most of the Chinese cemeteries.
Yes.
So we encourage you. So not only May Day, but on Kamehameha Day, string a lei.
String a
lei of plumeria. They're in full bloom. String a lei. Share with somebody.
And even before that, plant something in your yard that you can make your own lei. I'm a big advocate for that. So, you know, if you're on the windward side, put plumeria. You can put pakalana. In Hilo, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because if these traditions die, whose fault is that?
Well, it's ours.
It's ours, right?
Yeah.
So it's really up to us to maintain these traditions.
These lei traditions.
Someone else isn't going to do it for us, and so we all need to holomua.
Yes,
so here we see the first batch of, like we're at a golf tournament.
So beautiful.
And as the poles go up, as they put the lei, rehooking needs to happen.
Yes.
So again, the boys from Papakolea, we appreciate them for coming. They've been working hard all morning, getting up the other lei, and now the piece de resistance, the 40 lei puamelia from Ahui Ka'ahumanu are going up. The symbolic picture that we get every year of all the plumeria.
The iconic.
Iconic, be a better word.
Iconic.
Mahalo.
Oh, you can imagine how wonderful that smells. Too bad no smell-o-vision, yeah?
Smell-o-vision. So as if you're just tuning in, that's Ocean Kauili and Kawika Villa from Fire Station 24.
From the Honolulu Fire Department.
Yeah, so they're usually here every year with a bucket, a cherry picker. But again, with COVID, we're not using the cherry picker this year, so they came anyway. I mean, mahalo the gentlemen that were here earlier from other stations that were here before the broadcast began. Big appreciation to them for their time and energy as well.
Oh, yes.
So I just want to, a side note too, we don't put lei around this king's neck. You may see old pictures from back in the day when he would be like a high school graduation up to his neck in lei. It was decided some time ago that ahu'ula, or cape protocol, you don't wear a lei over it. And so to maintain some semblance of protocol, we opted to stop putting lei around his neck in honor of that rank that he held as a li'inui of the Hawaiian Islands. And so what I actually love about it though is the lei on both outstretched arms frame him beautifully. It's a beautiful, you still get to see the statue and all the beautiful work that went into the lei that are adorning it.
I always just feel like, you know what I mean?
You can breathe, Such a
like
beautiful.
That.
And,
So
and speaking of taking a breath, last year, because of COVID, we weren't able to do really anything last year. And so it's really hard for us to not have anything. We did come down that day. We did put it on our social media. And if you want to follow our social media, King Kamehameha Celebration for Facebook and Instagram. And we're using hashtag Kamehameha Day if anybody's going to be using that in their social media. But we came down. We still had a small, very, very private, very quiet ceremony, fully masked, very social distance. And so that was nice that we did that. And mahalo to everybody who came last year, the few dozen that we brought down. But this year, working within safety guidelines and still wanting to honor the king, we were able to accomplish this beautiful event today.
Yes, and it's really, it just warms my heart again to see these young men from Papakolea who are there with the older uncles.
Uncle Kavika and
Uncle
Uncle
Kavika
Ocean.
and Uncle Ocean.
And I'm the same age as Uncle Kavika.
Yeah, from the Honolulu Fire Department. So these young men, as they learn, you know, the protocol and the intricacies, if you will, of lei draping by hand and stick.
Yep, by stick.
By
Hello.
hand and stick.
Hello.
Low.
Hello. Oh.
Yeah, low. Yeah, very beautiful. So.
And this morning at about 8 o'clock, we had Mama Kakaua, the daughters and sons of Hawaiian warriors. They were here this morning on the statue mound. And so we're very honored that they do that every year for over 100 years since the statue was erected.
Yes.
Mama Kakaua, daughters and sons of Hawaiian warriors, lineal descendants of chiefs and kahuna that helped to unify the Hawaiian Islands with Kamehameha.
Yes.
So they come every year. So you can guarantee on June 11th, every year they're here, resplendent in their black and their ahula. And we're very happy to have them. And on our one of my favorite people in the world, Puake'ala, is our commissioner for Auntie Puake'ala Man. She's just the most
so
beautiful Hawaiian woman you've ever met. If you ever want to meet her in person, she's at the Royal Hawaiian Center.
Yes.
Who's another sponsor of ours. We want to mahalo the Royal Hawaiian Center and Monty Macumber for also sponsoring this event today with the Kamehameha schools, all in coordination with the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission. So we're so happy to have everybody involved, and we're just sending a shout out to Kuhina Nui Colleen Ayu as well. We love her, but Puake'ala, really, we wish you could see her on camera. Maybe we'll get her on camera in a little bit. And maybe she'll
deserves to be on
grace us with her
camera.
presence later. But
Yes.
she's over here waving at us, and we wish you could see her, but she just looks fantastic. The queen of all Hawaii, Puake'ala. Oh, sorry.
Puake'ala man.
No, Desiree, I thought she was pointing at me. No, I'm not the queen of Hawaii. Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So these now, again, 40 lei pua melia are going up on the statue. So sit comfortably, go get your snacks.
Yes, and I wanted to mention,
Yeah, please,
while we're doing
mention.
this, when we're talking about different volunteers,
Yeah.
I also wanted to send aloha and a mahalo to our two volunteer ladies
Oh,
who are
yeah.
manning the
And who are
reception
they?
tent.
Who are they?
So one is Melanie Howe.
Howe,
And
yeah.
Melanie is a 1980 graduate of Kamehameha schools.
And her uncle
And for her uncle is
notably
Uncle Louis Howe.
right, yeah, from OHA.
From
And
OHA
DHHL.
and from the Department
Yeah.
of Hawaiian Homeland. So Melanie, she and I used to dance hula together 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But Melanie, for several years now, has lived in California. She is a pelekikena of one of the Hawaiian Civic Clubs of Hilo. No, of
California.
Southern California,
Kaliponi.
of Kaliponi.
Yeah.
And so she's here visiting, so we grabbed her to
Voluntold her to
and
come down.
voluntold to come and help with the lei draping today. And join, and so a big mahalo to Melanie.
Yeah.
And
Welcome home.
Welcome home, Tita. And then also with her is Charnel Vallejo, who is a 1980 graduate of Kaimaki High School.
Go Bulldogs.
And yeah, Bulldogs. And she was a hula dancer for the Tavana show back in the day.
yeah.
Yes, with the largest
In Waikiki.
coconuts. Yes, in Waikiki.
The largest
The largest
coconuts.
coconuts. A very good dancer. And she is a retired lieutenant colonel from the Hawaii Air National
Oh,
Guard.
really?
Yes, so
she's today's COVID officer, cracking the
she
whip.
is cracking the whip. She's very used to telling everybody what to do. And
Bossy
giving
lady, we love
orders.
her.
Yeah, boss lady. So we're happy to have the two of them here today, and we're looking to have them join us, especially
year.
for next year and
Every
every
year.
year.
We need everyone's help every
We
year.
need everyone's help.
So many volunteers going into this event. So many behind the scenes things happening.
Yes.
This isn't just, like I said, happen and the production. It just takes. A lot of this planning is actually year round. A lot of it is year round.
It's year-round.
And meetings and talk stories, sitting around visiting,
Zooming,
ideas. A lot of
lots of
Zoom
Zooming.
lately. We're all Zoom masters now.
Yes.
Hashtag you're on mute.
Yeah.
We're gonna make coffee mugs for next
You're
year,
on
maybe.
mute.
You're on mute, Auntie.
Yeah.
I know my sister would love to
Unmute.
put me permanently on mute, but sorry, Lilia.
Yeah.
to my parade assister Lilia, who loved to mute me forever, but not happening.
I know. I mentioned, not I mentioned, but I noticed that you had some friends that you introduced me to today from the Four Seasons.
I have friends from the Four Seasons. Actually, what I'd love to thank is, so Four Seasons brought Alain. I would love to put the kahea, the call out to all the hotels across all the islands. I'd love to drop the gauntlet. And a big mahalo to Olelo as well. We love Olelo.
Yes.
I want to drop that gauntlet to all the hotels and everyone in the visitor industry to put in a float in your island.
Yes.
Bring a lei to that statue in your moku. Kokua somehow, provide tili for the float. Make a lei, help somehow. So big mahalo to the Four Seasons who got
those lovely
ball
girls.
turning.
What were their names?
Cassie and Kim.
Cassie and Kim from the Four
sales
Seasons.
and PR. So they had guests, they had staff, and so real proud. So big mahalo to all the employees of the Four Seasons Ko'olina out on the west side of this island of Oahu. And so we appreciate them. They were here earlier.
They said that they were doing the lays in the lobby with some employees and also letting guests.
Yeah, their social media was flooded with beautiful shots of plumeria and community.
Yes. And so I was thinking maybe we could provide them with some more information. So next year when they're doing that.
For everybody.
For
all the hotels, we can provide information.
They can make
we can share. We want to encourage all of you watching. If you work at a hotel, go talk to your general manager. If you are the general manager, go talk to me. My name is Kainoa Danes. But yeah, we really want all of you to participate more. Big mahalo this morning. Again, 8:30, the Sons and Daughters of Hawaiian Warriors, Mama Kakawa was on this morning. And then we had all of our equestrian units. They were on this morning as well, providing lei. They're the ones riding pa'u. Right? Maybe they weren't here. Maybe they rode up on horseback. Perhaps they were in full regalia. I don't know. But we want to thank the equestrians. There's not a parade, so they may have been in full regalia, but they will be riding pa'u for next year's parade. So we thank them for coming this morning. Also,
let's talk about pa'u.
Let's talk about. We have some time. Let's talk about pa'u.
Pa'u is something that is
near and
unique,
dear, beautiful,
to Hawaii,
cherished art.
Yes.
And so pa'u literally means skirt, translates to skirt. So we have that as a way
signature.
A way of kind of covering up their clothing at one point back in the day, and then it kind of took it to an elevated art.
Yeah, so the Waimea people said that when they would be going to a party to cover up their nice dress, so when they were riding the horse to protect their dress from the mud and the rain and the winds of Waipio, they would wrap their dresses in several yards of fabric, and it evolved.
And in Waimea, at the Pukalani Stables, there is a Paniolo Preservation Society Museum and a Pa'u Museum. So if you ever want to learn more about Pa'u, there is a museum in Waimea. And so it's beautiful to see every parade with a queen and sometimes a parade marshal, a Pa'u marshal, excuse me, and then a princess representing every island. Pages representing the attendant, the Pooper Scoopers, big mahalo to the Pooper Scoopers.
Yes.
And you don't have to be from that island to represent that island per se. Pretty much everybody in that parade is from that island, just representing a different island every year. And traditionally you ride all 8 islands before you were elevated to become the queen for the event. So one of our other commissioners representing the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, Shelley Kehaulani Pe'a,
from Hilo.
From Hilo, but here living now on Oahu, an employee of the Kamehameha schools. She is our Pa'u queen for next year.
Yes.
She was meant to have ridden last year, but again, because of COVID, we were just holding everybody over to roll them over. And I believe same for every island, all the princesses and queens were being held over for next year. So they've been chomping at the bit, so to say, pun intended, to be riding for next year's parade during the 150th anniversary.
Yes.
And then every island, every parade has a different tradition of how many kukui nuts are tucked into the pa'u. And once
is it like 20 yards of fabric?
20 yards of fabric, 12 to 20.
12 to 20,
and then 6 to 7 nuts.
Oh, 6 to 7
Might
nuts.
have 9 for some. I know like even Aloha Festivals is a different number. So every parade, every island, different.
And it stays.
I've once mock wrapped. Someone mock wrapped me once just to show, and it kind of hurts a little bit too.
Do you want to talk about that? I don't
want to talk about my wearing a skirt. No, not so much. But for tradition's sake, I was the model. But you wear that from 6 o'clock in the morning till the parade's over at 10. You're wearing it for hours. So.
I should put a kukui nut like with my pareo.
Just to see how one
Just
feels.
to see how it works.
Yeah, why not?
See how it works.
Why not?
I certainly have enough kukui nuts in my yard.
Yeah. you're nuts.
Enough
everywhere.
nuts, like
So in addition, we want to mahalo Pearl Harbor Hawaiian Civic Club for being here this morning. The Hawaiian Music Hall of Fame, the Royal Room to include Na Lima Mili Hulu no Eau,
Oh.
Friends of the Royal Hawaiian Band, and the Hawaii Kai Retirement Center. So mahalo to them for all being here. I believe that was Auntie Tony Lee
Oh, okay.
that represented those organizations, who
Okay.
former commissioner, former chair of the commission. So big mahalo and aloha to Auntie Tony Lee,
Yes.
who now I believe has been for a few years now the Aloha Festivals parade chair.
Oh, okay.
So mahalo to Auntie
Yes,
Tony for
she's well known.
all her hard work. Yeah,
Yeah, mahalo
appreciate
to
that.
her.
And after her was the Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club. So Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club, thank you for coming out, catching a flight from Makaha to be with us
Indeed.
today from Waimanalo Hawaiian Homestead Association.
And can I say that I'm
please.
also representing the Hawaiian Civic Club of Hilo.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. In Honolulu, we
Yes.
have Hilo represented wonderfully.
Our Peliki Kena is Noi Noi Wong Wilson.
Wilson, right.
Yes.
Wong Wilson.
Yes.
I may have said another name yesterday, so
Yeah,
sorry if
Noi
I
Noi
did.
Wong Wilson.
In addition, again, another sponsor of ours that we mentioned earlier, but was here to offer lei ho'okupu, was the Royal Hawaiian Center at Helumua. Once the capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom in the 1790s for a
Oh.
brief while, before Kauai and Niihau joined the fold.
Okay.
Kamehameha made that his kingdom, and so capital, excuse me, and so later the lands went to his grandson, King Kamehameha V, and he later gave them lands to his cousin, Bernice Pawahi Bishop. And so today the Kamehameha School is the proud landowner of that area, and so mahalo them, the Kamehameha Schools and the Royal Hawaiian Center for being sponsors this year, and they were here to give lei.
Yes.
After them was the Kamehameha Schools Alumni Association, Oahu Region. And we mentioned the Kamehameha Schools Alumni Association earlier. They're the ones we mentioned that brought the Princeville statue of King Kamehameha to
Yes.
Hilo. So Kamehameha Schools Alumni Association, very active and
Active.
involved in the community.
Yes.
We appreciate them. And Keone o Ka Kuhiheva, or the Oahu Council of the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, gave lei as well. And lots of people from the community. You know, we've been seeing people
Mm-hmm.
on their own bringing lei, and that's what, you know, Desiree was encouraging earlier. Make lei, bring anything.
well, not anything.
Not anything, sorry. Let's
so
back that
let's
up.
back that up. So not anything.
Rewind.
And people, you know, they have that question. They want to know what is appropriate.
Yeah, so
Well,
tell me since I'm the king of inappropriate, please
Right.
tell us what's appropriate.
Appropriate, of course, first and foremost, is a lei, a fresh lei.
Made
Is
out
it
of what?
Made out of flowers.
Okay, or
Also plants, greenery, tea leaf is popular, maile. You'll see some people use a Star of India.
or Song of India too.
Song
as
of
well.
India. Different fresh plant materials. You can also bring a floral display. You can bring one flower if that's what you have, but really the most important thing is to bring it with intention.
Absolutely.
That this is something that you're giving in thanks, in gratitude, in respect.
Yeah.
So it can be a lei, or again a floral display or arrangement, or it can be a voice.
Yeah, your
It can
oli,
be your
mele,
a song, a prayer,
spoken
a
word,
spoken word.
rap battle. No, maybe,
It can
maybe
be
not.
no.
No, okay, maybe not.
Well, maybe sudden rush kind of. So it could be
Bring your
a song.
ukulele.
It could be a song, but I think the main thing, ukulele, ipu.
Yeah.
You can come and blow your poo.
Yeah, bring your
The
conch.
shell, your conch shell. Just
your nose flute.
something with intention. Now, we were discussing that on the different islands, there's different things that you'll see. So in Hilo, interestingly, sometimes there's like a pumpkin.
Yep.
There was
The
a giant
chocolate.
zucchini yesterday.
Grown with aloha.
Grown with aloha, and there's a hand of bananas. There was also like a little crystal somebody left.
Nice.
There was a little turquoise. And
Little
so
turquoise for our Native
we-
American brethren
Maybe.
in honor of our king.
So we want to discourage people from bringing a candle.
Nothing dangerous.
Nothing dangerous.
that could
nothing that could burn down,
yeah.
you know, the surroundings. But just something with intention. And you know, really, we don't mind the zucchini. If you're a farmer,
zucchini of love.
and that's from your garden, then it's, you know, respectful. But sometimes I do feel like taking that pumpkin home and cooking it with pork
Make a
and
squash, make a-
patis
make
and
a
making
soup.
pork and pumpkin.
And if you're
or-
not able to make it to the statue, if you're not able to come down to the if you're not a statue on the island you're on, perhaps even, it's okay to do something in your community, at your home,
Yes.
for your family. There's lots of ways to honor Kamehameha and the legacy he's left before us.
You
so-
can have a poi supper.
Absolutely, be creative.
Yeah.
Be
So you can
creative.
have a Hawaiian meal.
Put on a nice aloha shirt,
Yes.
put on a nice lei,
Make a lei. Cut some flowers from your yard and
decorate your living room.
just you can put a lei on your front doorknob.
Sure, on
of
your
your
mailbox,
hale, on your
on
mailbox.
your doorknob.
Yeah.
Give one to your neighbor.
You can do a hula in your yard.
You can do it in your living room.
You can scare your
you
neighbors.
Can scare your, hope to close the windows.
Lots of things that we can do.
Yeah. and So
We
here
can raise a glass.
we could do that to our water cheers.
Yeah, for our water.
So we have again the boys from Papakolea, the men, from Papakolea, and two of our Honolulu Fire Department gang, Ocean, Kawili, and Kavika Villa, who are helping us. We're almost there, putting up Le Puamelia from Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu, who will be joining us on camera soon. They're going to be offering mele, as they do every year for over
Yes.
100 years. And they have a commissioner. We'd like to aloha Auntie Louise Alina,
Yeah.
who is our Ahuhui commissioner, Ahuhui
She's
Ka'ahumanu. She is.
lovely.
She's a former May Day queen.
Oh.
Honolulu, May Day lay queen. I was a
I can see it. I can see it.
I was a judge that year. I was a lay queen
Oh.
judge, and she really hands down. She did a great job, and she represents
blew
well.
away the competition.
She did. She laid it all down.
Yep.
Unintended.
Yes.
Okay. So she's joining the women today, and aloha to their Pelekikena Pauline Namu'o. She's the Pelekikena of Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu here in Honolulu. And they have a commission seat. I want to say aloha to another commissioner, Haleona Ali'i commissioner and vice chair of the commission, Mr. Ian Cristino, who is right now our parking lot attendant.
He's so wonderful.
He's the high chief of the parking lot right now.
He is the high chief, and he works so hard.
He
You know,
does.
he's
He does.
smart.
He's
He
over
does
there
the
with vest.
financials. He's wearing a regal orange vest.
He looks beautiful in
today.
fluorescent yellow and orange.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Managing the parking lot.
We can't do without him.
We appreciate you, Ian, our
Yeah.
vice chair.
And he is the grandson
Oh, yeah.
of Lani Custino.
Who is she? Tell us who she
She
was.
is a famous beauty and a famous hula dancer soloist
That's
from like the 60s and the
Yeah.
70s, I believe. But yeah, Lani
Or- and-
Cristino, so his grandmother. So we're really, really grateful is the word to have Ian serving as one of the commissioners, because he really brings a lot to the table.
yeah,
so
we appreciate him.
Ian.
Mahalo, Ian.
I believe he works at Kamehameha Schools.
He does. I believe he does. And he works with Hailama Fardin,
Okay.
who is of the Lahaina Maui Fardin family.
Yes.
And we appreciate his support as well. He's an active member of Mamakakaua, Haleona Ali'i, the Royal Order of Kamehameha, and he makes a donation to Ahuhui Kahumanu since he can't technically join. So he's a member of all the Royal Societies, and we appreciate Hailama. So
He's always been really fabulous.
very community,
you know,
very
very
focused.
community,
We appreciate
focused.
his
I was
lovely
in
wife.
I was
and
in college
beautiful
at the
daughter.
same time, although
Yeah.
he's younger than me. But
Yeah.
we were in college at the same time, and he always had this really olu way about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I think Ian does work with him, and so we appreciate all that they do for the
Nice.
community and from Kamehameha School. I think joining us today, we have Moani from the island of Maui. We have our Maui commissioner. She
Yes.
came over to help us today. Moani, mahalo to Moani and to Daryl Fujiwara, a former Maui commissioner. They are televising a Maui parade, I believe, next weekend. So it's kind of a mini
parade, if you will.
abbreviated parade, yeah. That
Mhm.
in I think an arena of some kind in
Kula.
on Maui. I think so,
I
yeah.
think in Kula or Makawao.
And so we're excited to be able to sort of see some semblance of a parade
Mhm.
on television, safely pre-recorded. So no COVID restrictions per se. But yeah, we're happy to have her here and joining us. And shout out to Leah on the island of Kauai, our Kauai commissioner. We
Yes.
appreciate her.
Mahalo,
All they did.
Commissioner
You
Leah.
hope maybe on Hawaii News Now you've seen some of the vignettes. So they have a
Yes.
beautiful Pa'u Paniolo Kamehameha display at the Kauai Museum. So a big mahalo to Chucky Boy Chalk and all of them over there in Lihue for all that they've been doing. And a shout out to Heli Dukoroi Silva on the island of Molokai Inui Ahina, where they're riding horses with the first annual, I believe, King Kamehameha Celebration Rodeo.
2 days.
2 days, yeah.
Yep.
today and tomorrow. Excuse me, I may have misspoke earlier. Today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow.
Yes, and I'd also like to send a shout out and aloha to Luann Favorito, who's the former Molokai commissioner, who is also a horsewoman and a pa'u rider.
Queen, I think, in 2012.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, here in Honolulu.
She's very involved with the different...
I think Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club, too.
Makaha Hawaiian Civic Club, and shows up for lots of things, very involved in the community. So,
mahalo.
Sending a big aloha out to Luann, and by the way, if you need some venison, Luann is your go-to.
Happy to provide some fresh Molokai venison.
Mahalo for that venison and Molokai bread.
Yeah, so it's a statewide effort every year, putting together this celebration, having our community come together with commissioners, and you don't have to be a commissioner to get involved. Just show up. Just show up. Just help.
Contact us through
Amy
social
Hammond.
media.
Yes, so social media is fine, or you can email us at kkcc@hawaii.gov. If you want to help sponsor something, bring lei, have more questions, because again, next year is the 150th anniversary, and we're going to want everybody involved next year because it's going to be a big to-do.
We certainly would like to say a big mahalo to Kumu Maika Kamohuali'i.
Please tell us more about him.
Of Waimea. And Maika is a kumu of Kumuhula and a cultural...
Kumuhulu, Kumukapa, everything.
Kumu designs by Kamohuali'i.
Oh, right.
But
that's
he's
lovely lole you're wearing today.
A very active Hawaiian who is one of the things that the halau does, and I am a member of Halau na Kipu'upu'u,
from Waimea,
is that they participate in the lei draping ceremony in Hilo and Kohala, and they really bring it. And they do hula and oli and the fabulous lei.
So they were the closing group at the Hilo lei draping yesterday. So if you're able to watch, all these broadcasts will live for all time and eternity in the interwebs and online and demand and etc.
Yes.
And their halau na kipu'upu'u is the closing halau in Hilo. And you got to give it to Desiree for getting on her, getting down on the ground as they the halau prostrated at the end.
Zoom past
really,
that.
the way they honor Kamehameha is just chicken skin beautiful.
It's year round for
and
that
it's constant.
halau. It's constant.
It's not just in June.
Yeah, they actually did, or I should say, we actually did a statewide hula drama several years ago, a production on every island. It was called Hanau Keali'i, and it told the story of King Kamehameha's birth to his death.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, epic.
It was wonderful,
drama.
I have to say.
It
myself, it was pretty.
And it was performed on every island.
Yeah, we did it
you swam to
Hawaii.
Niihau.
Yep, on
the
Maui,
Theater.
Molokai at the gym.
Yep, at the MAC.
At the MAC.
The
Kahilo
Blaisdell.
Theater, and
Here,
also
the Blaisdell. That was something.
Aloha Theater. We were afraid.
Is that
in Kona.
Oh,
a
Aloha
small
Theater. Okay.
historic theater. The Palace Theater in Hilo.
Nice.
And the Blaisdell Concert Hall.
Yeah.
We also did it on Kauai at the college. And then we took a boat over to Niihau and did it on the beach.
I love that.
There, Niihau. And Halau also went to Kaho'olawe and did it in oli form on Kaho'olawe as well. So it was a wonderful thing. In Kohala, Lorna Lim's Halau also participates in a lead role with Halau na Kipu'upu'u in Kohala. And so we really want to encourage all hula practitioners across the Pai'aina to come and bring your lei and have a float and walk in the parade and do everything to be a part of this wonderful celebration. Oh my gosh, I think we see our former...
We see her walking by, our former executive director, Niniao Simmons.
Yes.
We want to aloha.
Niniao Kauai High Simmons.
Kauai High, our former executive director. Really appreciate her of the King Kamehameha celebration. We just got a hui from her, so mahalo Niniao for swinging by. Today's actually a state holiday.
It is, and so she has the day off. She works in administration with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, works with the Hawaiian homestead community, and we're so grateful for her for all of the things that she does on a daily basis, professionally and personally, to support Hawaiians and the Hawaiian traditions and practices. So mahalo nui to Nini Au Kawaihai Simmons. I love her. Yeah.
I hired her.
You hired her?
I hired her, yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Appreciate
good
her.
hire.
And then I replaced her
Yeah,
when she
well.
left to go work for Mayor Billy.
Oh yeah.
She left
so
me.
actually, yeah, she and
I
I worked,
became the staff for 3 months
right.
for 5 minutes. And so
she and I worked together
Yeah.
For
On the
Mayor
island of
Billy
Hawaii.
Kenoi during his terms as the mayor of the county of Hawaii. So we want to send an aloha up to him, to wherever you are, Mayor Billy, and mahalo you for always being so supportive and humble with the Kamehameha celebration, and just doing everything you could to support it, and also to come every year to attend, which we really appreciate.
yeah, we do. We really do.
Yeah.
So we're going to.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So we've been live with you for a few minutes now. We're going to go first to a short break and enjoy some of the footage of past events and other scenes, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank
We'll
you
be
so
right
much.
back. Ahui ho.
On the south shore of Kona Kakai Molokai is the Kapua Iwa Royal Coconut Grove. In the 1860s, Kamehameha V Lot Kapua Iwa planted 1,000 coconut trees to represent the 1,000 warriors who once protected this aina. Approximately 100 remain today, but this symbolic stand of trees is a reminder of the most recognizable warrior known for unifying these islands, Kamehameha I. While 200 years have passed, Kamehameha is still remembered and honored today. A Hawaiian community group recently created a celebration in the uplands of Pala'au, which overlook the breathtaking, isolated Kalaupapa Peninsula. What began with the gathering of flowers at Mauka eventually stretched down to the sandy shores and ended with a tribute and commemoration of the founder of the Hawaiian kingdom, King Kamehameha I. The festivities highlighted the art of pa'u, punctuating its cultural significance. The term pa'u means skirt. What started with humble beginnings of female riders wearing long skirts to protect their legs have over time become more elaborate and elegant costumes. An army of volunteers gathered, cleaned, and sized the beautiful flora, which included palapalai, kukui leaves, iwa fern, Song of India, kikania, along with coconut fronds and fibers. They wrapped the various flowers into bundles and stringed more than 500 kukui nuts. The scented floral displays in respective island colors were represented in the lokelani, anthuriums, kaunaoa, and hina elua. The intricately constructed displays were just a few that beautified the riders and horses, who represented the 4 respective islands of Maui Nui. A reenactment of the royal court received pa'u units, with its paniolo page carrying their island banner and announcing and identifying each island princess. The princesses wore a coconut frond nib papale hairpiece, which coordinated with her horse. There was a grand marshal and recognition of Hawaiian Royal Society members, who represent historical organizations still active today. For nearly 150 years, the statewide King Kamehameha celebrations have been perpetuated by an elaborate network of community support. Every volunteer embodies Hawaiian values and principles, including lokahi, or unity, laulima, which is many hands working together, and aloha, which is much more than love. Organizers, fundraisers, performers, pa'u riders, horse owners and handlers, hair and makeup artists, lei makers, pa'u rappers, entertainers, and, even the cleanup crew all gather with the spirit of aloha. It's a collaboration that brings the community together every year. King Kamehameha Day, just another reflection of the pride of the people who cherish the saying, Molokai no kaheke.
Brought to you by King Kamehameha Celebration Commission.
Every Every year on the Friday closest to June 11th, the statue honoring King Kamehameha in downtown Honolulu is ceremoniously draped with flower lei. It's a celebration that's been held for more than a century in tribute to the warrior chief best known for unifying the Hawaiian Islands. The King Kamehameha Day holiday was proclaimed by Kamehameha V. The first celebrations featured fairs and carnivals plus foot, horse, and velocipede races. Today, Kamehameha Day is celebrated with events that harken back to ancient Hawaii, respecting the cultural traditions that the king defended as his society slowly shifted toward European ways. During his reign, King Kalakaua commissioned an 18-foot bronze statue in honor of King Kamehameha and is now one of Hawaii's most photographed landmarks. Made by Thomas Gold in Florence, Italy, and dedicated in 1883, it now stands in front of Ali'iolani Hale. This replica statue was created after the ship delivering the original was lost at sea near the Falkland Islands off Cape Horn. The original statue was later found and now resides in Kamehameha's birthplace, North Kohala. A third statue, sculpted by R. Sandrin at the Fercaro Foundry in Vicenza, Italy in 1963, stands 14 feet tall and was commissioned when Hawaii attained statehood. The statue was unveiled in 1969 and destined for the shores of Kauai, but was later moved to Hilo on Hawaii Island in 1997, where it now resides. For more than 100 years in Honolulu, the Ahahui Ka'ahumanu have been spearheading the lei draping ceremony. The Civic Club
Welcome back to the 149th annual King Kamehameha Celebration Floor Parade Lei Draping Ceremony here in downtown Honolulu on the island of Oahu. My name is Kainoa Danes, chairman of the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission, and all the way from Hilo, Hawaii.
I'm Desiree Moana Cruz, a Hawaii Island Commissioner for the King Kamehameha Celebration Commission. Aloha.
We're excited to have you, and so we just took a short break and we're back. We are still draping lei from Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu, the ladies of Ka'ahumanu, so we're going to get them done soon, and then we'll be watching a beautiful hula performance from them shortly. So again, we have the gentleman from Papako'olea and the Honolulu Fire Department helping us to put the lei up on the statue of King Kamehameha.
They're doing a great job.
They really are.
They
I
really
appreciate
are.
them.
So
this statue was it was created in a foundry in Florence, Italy.
Oh.
In the 1880s, commissioned by none other than King Kalakaua.
I thought it looked like Roman sandals on his feet.
Yep. Even his nose is not the upepe that we're used to. So it was influenced by Roman Florentine statuariness.
Statuary.
Yeah, statuaryism.
Statuary.
And so he ordered the statue,
King Kalakaua.
King Kalakaua, and it was on its way here from Italy, from Europe. The ship crashed off the Falkland Islands.
Off Argentina?
I see, because the Panama Canal wasn't created yet, so it had to go, don't cry for me. Argentina as the ship sank, and that's where the song came from, I believe.
Oh.
And, no, it wasn't. So they good thing they had taken out insurance, if you will, on the statue, and a second. The layer. Oh, please fix there we go. A little windy, blustery, as Winnie the Pooh would say, blustery day in Honolulu. So they had taken out insurance, so they created another statue.
Yes.
Of the same mold. And so the two statues arrived in Hawaii a few months apart, and the quandary was, what do we do with two statues? We only needed one, and the one was meant to be here in Honolulu, in the kingdom capital. And so
across from the palace.
Across from the palace, in front of the Hawaii Judiciary Building, the Supreme Court of Hawaii, and home to the Judiciary History Center, which has got a great little museum that people should visit. And I give that plug as an executive board member.
Let's visit this week.
We will. So please visit that. But so anyway, the original statue that was made first was gifted to the people of Kohala and left to them to decide how to display it. And so they opted to paint it to look more realistic because he was their ohana. Right. He's from Kohala. That's their great-grandfather, the grandfather.
Cloak is not gold?
It's yellow.
Oh, it's yellow.
Like a canary yellow.
Oh, right,
and a fire engine red.
Right.
The skin is the Hawaiian brown versus the bronze brown that we see here. And Kalakaua, the merry monarch, in all of his pageantry, gold-leafed instead. So this was his intention, was to gold-leaf this statue, as is the statue in Hilo and the statue in Washington, D.C. So the two statues, again, in Kohala and Honolulu, are exact replica, or are exact mold, from the same mold.
Yes, are made from the same mold.
From the same mold. And then the DC statue, a mold of this physical statue, physically of this one. So a goal of mine, which I'll just share now, and if anybody wants to help, reach out to us, is a statue in Maui.
Oh,
We'd love
on
to see a statue on
Maui.
Maui. We've had some conversations, and they're
In Lahaina?
former capital of Lahaina. There's a spot that's been picked out potentially. So for discussion for later, but just some
Yes.
food for thought for later.
Yes, I think that sounds like a great idea.
So we're having a meeting of the minds.
So, you know, there's another famous statue
Mm-hmm.
that's between the palace and the state
Oh
capital.
yes. The Spirit of Lili'uokalani is its
Yes.
official name.
Oh, is it?
It has the Spirit of Lili'uokalani. It's a beautiful statue, Onipa'a at the base, our last reigning monarch and our last reigning queen, facing in the direction of Washington Place, one of her homes. She also had homes in Waikiki and around Hawaii.
Yes. Our
we
beloved
have-
queen.
We see ocean adjusting lei. Again, this, as we saw in Hilo, Keke Kaniho and his son Kaniela have been draping the statue for years.
Yes.
And
his other
Tinani,
son, too.
His other son
Yeah.
who was not there, but he's usually in Kohala
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
So it's kind of an art, It's not just about throwing the lei. It's not a ring
Yeah.
toss.
It's not a ring toss.
Not a ring toss. And so we want to really beautifully drape the statue. So I appreciate Kavika and Ocean of the Honolulu Fire Department taking a minute to adjust accordingly.
And mentor the next generation.
yeah.
Yeah, which is so important.
So Ocean rode as Mo'i, the king in the portraying King Kamehameha in the Honolulu parade years ago, and has been very active and involved in the lei dripping ceremony ever since.
I believe that he also portrayed King Kalakaua in a movie.
I believe it was the Princess Kaiulani movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Forgot about that. So right across the street.
Very
he
kingly.
He was very regal. He was
Very
very
regal.
regal. He was Kalakaua. I think you forgot about
Bearded.
that.
Was he bearded?
He had to have been if you were
Yes.
Kalakaua. He was.
Yes,
So,
bearded.
bearded. Ocean
Bearded
Kawili.
Naka.
Yeah, and he helps us with the parade as well during with parade starting and getting the floats along the way. So yeah, mahalo in Kavika Villa.
Is that his name, Kavika Villa?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I knew Gordon Villa.
Probably his uncle.
I think he's like my age. Would that be
maybe
uncle?
his
Yeah.
older brother.
I think he's
uncle.
Kamehameha class 8.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I haven't seen him since like
Well,
1980.
Kavika's dad is my mom's classmate,
Oh,
class of 71, Ibuwa Kamehameha.
Imua.
So we have probably about another 6,000 lei to put up. We have beautiful, maybe another 10
You know,
or so
it's
lei
true.
pu'umelia.
But that's what makes the iconic
Oh yeah.
look.
We're
Are
not
the
going anywhere. We're comfy.
pu'umelia.
We are so
I mean,
comfortable.
we're here.
You're all at home watching this in the comfort of your homes.
with
your office,
snacks
wherever you
and
are.
drinks.
Yeah, so cheers to us.
Yeah, so.
So yeah, we have another few more lei. And then a little bit towards the end, we actually have the governor, Governor Ige.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And Mayor Blangiardi.
Mayor
Mayor Blangiardi, our new
Blangiardi,
mayor. So that we have the
yes,
two of them
yes.
coming to join us in a little bit. So, King Kamehameha Celebration Commission is a state commission attached to the Department of Accounting and General Services. And so
Yeah.
technically it's a state event on a state holiday. And no other state in the entire United States of America has a holiday honoring a monarch.
Yes.
Hawaii has two of them. We have Kamehameha Day today.
Yes.
And we have Prince Kuhio Day at the end of March. Yeah, honoring that's actually his birthday, March 27th. And so we're the only state with two official holidays celebrating ali'i, monarchs and royalty. Proud of that.
And that's another reason why we're special.
We are.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Well, speaking of special,
Yes.
I would like to send a big aloha to Moses,
Oh,
Kaho'okele
yeah.
Crab, to Kumu Crab,
Crab Ohana.
and the whole Crab Ohana, and there's several.
His Oli, so he was receiving at the Hilo statue last night.
Yes.
And,
Which is his role for many
he is,
years.
Yep, since Kamehameha was alive, I think.
I believe
if I'm
so,
not
yes.
mistaken.
Eo.
And he knows the genealogy of every organization. He knows their Oli. He knows their protocol.
He knows
It's
where they
really
live.
Beautiful. He does. He knows their
He
social
does.
security numbers.
He does a
He
beautiful,
does. We appreciate
personal,
him. It's very personal. I think that's a good
very
word. Very
personal
personable. Yeah.
greeting to each organization.
Yeah. Yeah. All the honking, mahalo. Yeah, we hear you.
Mahalo,
Mahalo.
that's
So
right,
that's
ew.
their whole kupu.
Yeah.
Le honk,
Le-
if you will. If you will, they're providing the honk honk beep beep toot toot, and we appreciate that. So hokupu in all shapes and forms and sounds.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
So anyway, back to Kumu
Oh, wait,
Moses.
sorry.
So he is the person who is greeting and receiving the lei at the Kamehameha statue in Hilo.
Right.
And he does such a beautiful job. And in addition, his hula halau, which is called Halau Kalani, also presented lei for the
They were
first
great.
time
They were all
this year.
Papa Uniki.
Yeah, they're in a special class that he's
Ooh,
training
nice.
right now for his olapa.
Oh, nice.
And so Kumu Crab, by the way, has an illustrious hula genealogy.
Does it?
Yes.
Tell us more.
He was one of 4 haumana who unikied under Robert Casimiro with Halauna Kamale. I believe it was Moses, your brother, Manu Boyd.
My kaikua Anna.
Yes, and then I think also Vito Baker
Okay.
and Michael Casapang.
Okay.
I believe.
All right. And if not,
Yeah,
well,
so-
then they just did.
Then, yeah. Eola. So they unikied or were, one of the first uniki class under Kumuhula Robert Uluvehi Casimiro.
Alauna Kamale.
Yeah, yeah.
Uliko Lehua. So this, again, it's not easy. I've lifted the low in Hilo once.
Yeah.
And Kumu Crab gave me a pohaku. And I'm not sure why, I'm just going to share what happened. He gave me the pohaku.
A sacred pohaku,
to
if you
hold.
will.
It may have been, may not have been. I feel like I was being hazed a little bit. But he gave me this pohaku to hold half an hour before we started. And it was probably at least 20 pounds, maybe 15, 20 pounds.
Like a bag of rice.
And it started feeling about 25, 30, 40 as time progressed. And it was getting heavier and heavier. And when it was time to begin, they handed me the pole, and my arms were shaking so hard from holding that stone for so long.
We have photos.
I
have a photo of him
Mahalo aka
commemorating
Kumo
that
for
on my
that
fridge.
experience. And so I mean, so every lay after that really felt quite a bit lighter, but at the same time, I also couldn't lift it because it was so shaky. So anyway, just a little fun side note that it is not easy lifting those poles, especially when you have an audience of people watching.
Watching your
You
every
have the royal
move.
societies, you have public officials.
Judging.
Your kupuna from yesterday watching from above.
Judging.
So it really is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But these men from Papakole are
Young
really
men.
stepping it up.
I must
We
say they're
appreciate
also
them.
good looking.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Yep. And
Rocking their aloha shirts.
I did seal it down that they will be here next year.
Okay, the same ones.
The same boys,
Excellent.
same 6.
Okay.
And I told them that when they each have a son in the future,
Perfect,
their
train them up.
son will take their place.
Right. When as their
So,
sons set, their
yeah.
sons shall rise.
These are nice boys, nice young men from Papakolea. Good looking too.
From one of Prince Kalani and Ole's
Yep.
was
That's
it
a
the
good
second homestead, I think?
I
Kalamaula
believe
was
the
the first
second.
one, and
Yeah.
Papakolea the second one.
This is a good looking crew, and I believe
Yeah.
they'll be malo ready for next year.
I'm trying to be Malo ready someday.
So, well, I'm not.
So,
but
you know.
I'm going to attend in the comfort of a mu'u. But
Okay. I might
Yeah.
have to put on a mu'u if I'm not careful.
yeah, we do want
So here we
to
have people
send.
from the community. We love this. Is beautiful. Where
this
people
is
from
nice.
the community, Lei Avapuhi, being presented to Mr. Elijah McShane, who's offered to manage protocol and the
Receive lei.
receiving of
Yes.
ho'okupo. Appreciate that, Elijah. Mahalo.
Yeah, and I love lei avapuhi.
Yeah.
And that is like my yellow ginger
My
lei.
yellow ginger
lei.
Ule Avapuhi.
You know, that flower, it blooms just in like the warmest time of the summer.
Yeah, and as soon as you pluck it,
As
she
soon as you
melts.
pluck it, and as soon as you put it on your body, it
Right.
melts. But
I
it
radiate
is.
heat. That's my X-Men power. I radiate heat.
But it's
Oh,
a glorious lei,
It
and
is.
so when you see it at the lei stands,
Yeah, buy it. Scoop it up.
get it because
But smell it first
Well, smell it, but
before you buy it.
we'll buy it. But it's one of those lei that is like a glorious shooting star,
triple ginger.
and then it,
Oh, that
you know,
triple
it's
ginger
gone.
lei is something to behold. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like big. You just
Love
you
it.
stand taller.
Yeah.
Like when you wear the governor lei, what is it? The lei ponimoi, the carnation lei. You just kind of half on the back, half on the front, and you just stand taller.
Yeah, it is really wonderful.
Okay, I lied. There's about another 4 million lei to go.
Okay,
So we're
okay.
getting there. I think
We're getting there.
2 more.
But it
2
looks
more.
so
If
wonderful.
only you could smell it. I mean, we can't. I was just, but we can. We're getting the waft of the plumeria. I really think this is one of my favorite flowers, and because of Kamehameha Day, La Kamehameha, I notice plumeria more than I probably should.
What?
I notice just plumeria
Trees?
everywhere, just the flower, the colors, the shades
Yes.
of plumeria.
Okay, so can I tell you something
please,
really fast?
Please light
Okay.
it. I mean, tell me.
So my husband
Yeah.
is the assistant police chief,
yeah.
on the island of
AC
Hawaii.
Yep.
A.C. O'Connor,
Yep.
James O'Connor.
He's 18 feet
So
tall.
he is 6'6". So
Okay, 6'6".
when he was the chief of Area 2, which
Yeah.
is Kona side, west side of the island, I encouraged him to plant plumeria trees around the entire police department
Really?
in Kona.
Okay.
Yes. And so he did.
Okay.
They did. And now, if you go to the police station, I told him it would be good for like community relations.
Sure.
And
And it looks
also,
nice.
it looks
Yeah,
beautiful,
it looks
and it
beautiful.
encourages the staff and the police officers in Kona to make lei for their own families for
Malama,
graduation, for Kamehameha Day, for parades, for Valentine's Day. So,
Right.
yeah, it's really sweet.
Ho'okuleana.
I feel
Ho'okuleana.
very
Pass that on.
happy about that.
Yeah, so we're here this beautiful afternoon
Oh, I'm feeling
here
a
in
nice
Honolulu.
breeze.
So we are going to go to another break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you once again for joining us in downtown Honolulu.
Aloha.
The first horses in Hawaii were a gift to Kamehameha I. It wasn't until the reign of Kamehameha III when vaqueros from Mexico were brought to train Hawaiian men to manage the horses and cattle. And thus the Paniolo was born, and along with them came the women in their lives. Many women became notable equestrians and traveled by horse. This became an efficient and adventurous way to traverse the Hawaiian terrain. When women needed to leave their homes in formal wear to arrive at their engagements unscathed, an ingenious Hawaiian woman created the pa'u hololio, sometimes called the kihe hololio or riding skirt. Using up to 21 yards of fabric, the pa'u became the outer garment to protect her finery underneath. Colorful and expensive swaths of fabric were used, and stones and nuts were cleaned and smoothed and strategically placed. With firm twists, the extravagance of yardage was transformed into an exuberance of loveliness. A kipola or poncho-like top was added to the ensemble, and hats added another layer of protection and fashion, while streams of ribbon flowing freely in the wind completed the look. Hawaiian women galloped along the plains and paths freely around Hawaii until the onset of automobiles. Festive pa'u riders were confined to the constraints of the new laws and therefore no longer seen and marveled at. Women donning pa'u would have their portraits taken in photo studios in remembrance of days past. Riding clubs under ali'i patronage, notably those under Queen Liliuokalani and Prince Kuhio, could be seen only on rare occasions. The public longed to see the bevy of beauties on horseback again, and the Washington Day Parade delivered in February 1906. About 50 pa'u riders were featured in that parade, and while it was not the same as seeing the daring women in full speed with their flying pa'u in former days, in the hearts of the people, the beloved sight of the pa'u riders remained the same. The Kamehameha Day Parade on June 11, 1906 brought the pa'u riders back by popular demand, and ever since then, the pa'u riders have had a prominent presence in our parades. Without the pa'u riders, a parade is just a parade. But with them, a parade is a major Hawaiian celebration.
Brought to you by King Kamehameha Celebration Commission.
This year's Na Kamehameha commemorative Pa'u Parade on the island of Maui is aimed at revitalizing a tradition of Pa'u, where dedicated Paniolo demonstrate the art Maui style. Riders showcased a never-seen-before Pa'u horsemanship demonstration held in the Oski Race Arena up in Makawao. Many, many years ago, when a Pa'u princess wanted to ride in the Kamehameha Day parade, she would compete by exhibiting horsemanship skills. The princess would have to perform Western horsemanship patterns of riding, and the princess with the highest points would have the honor of choosing her island first. Preparations were extensive for the event, including gathering flowers and donations from around the island. Ohana and volunteers worked together, designing and creating exquisite floral adornments for both the riders and their horses. Each princess and queen was wrapped in a traditional pa'u made of 12 yards of tightly wrapped fabric and carefully held together by 6 kukui nut. Each island was honored as the rider was fashioned in their own island colors and flowers. Na Kamehameha Pa'u Parade is usually held on Front Street in Lahaina and runs along the waterfront. It ends at Lahaina's famous banyan tree where a festive ho'olaulea follows. The event includes exhibits, keiki activities, a Pa'u Awards presentation, food booths, crafters, music, and hula. Each year, Maui celebrates the ali'i and the Kingdom of Hawaii through rich cultural festive activity. Maui's 2021 Na Kamehameha Commemorative Pa'u Court consists of Maui-rooted ohana and paniolo, exhibiting a traditional Pa'u holo'olio. Pa'u Island princesses and pages were featured, as well as the Pa'u Marshal and Pa'u Queen.
My name is Gina Astrid Mahealanile Ricard, and I'm from Lahaina, Maui. And this year I was chosen as the queen for our Kamehameha Day celebration. And I'm very honored to be holding this position. And I'd like to thank everybody who's helped. Right now I'm so honored to be here, and everybody just made my day. Thank you very much.
Brought to you by King Kamehameha Celebration Commission.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us again. Here we are at the King Kamehameha statue in downtown Honolulu. The last lei from Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu have finally been draped on the statue with the hard work of the ladies of Ahuhui and the gentleman from Papakolea and the Honolulu Fire Department draping. And now we're going to turn it over to a short hula performance and song from the ladies of Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu. Well, here they come, resplendent in black. So excited to see them. Again, they've been doing this for over 100 years, this organization here in Honolulu. Queen Ka'ahumanu was the favorite wife of King Kamehameha. He had many, but she was his favoritist.
She served as Kuhina Nui.
She was the first Kuhina Nui of the islands, and I believe her Victoria Kamamalu was dubbed Ka'ahumanu II.
Yes.
And she was also a Kuhina Nui at one time as well, and sort of regent would be the equivalent in Western terms, co-ruling with the ali'i, with the mo'i rather, with King Kamehameha II and later the III. And their organization is in honor of those noble women that came before, and the wives and daughters and granddaughters of King Kamehameha Ekahi.
And Queen Ka'ahumanu was actually ruling in 1820 when the missionaries first, when the missionary women first arrived on the shores of the island.
And I believe she had some influence.
She did have some
conversion.
influence. Yes, she had some influence.
She was born in Hana. There's a marker in Hana. She was actually born in a cave. It's a beautiful cave with a marker. A beautiful cave.
It's
right
probably
on the
the best
ocean.
cave of the day, I'm sure.
It was and is. And
well
Hana.
situated with a view.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
And so we're honored to have Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu. Auntie Louise Alina is directing traffic right now, talking story with Pelikikena Polinamu'o.
Yes.
They're a very hardworking organization of Hawaiian women, the gracious ladies of Ahuhui. There's a chapter on every island, I believe.
I believe there is. I know that in Hilo, the Hilo chapter is, the Pelikikena is Kumuhula Puanani Krum.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
She's wonderful, and she and her chapter have been involved in the lei draping in Hilo from day one, and she also would bring her hula halau.
And you often see the Ahuhui making food at the Merry Monarch Festival.
Yes.
You know, in their black T-shirts,
Yes.
with their lei on the shirt. It's beautiful.
Yes, they
You
do.
know, all these civic community organizations are very involved in the community, very involved in day-to-day things here in Hawaii, and representing the ali'i that have gone before us and keeping their memory alive and well.
It all crosses
It
over.
does. It's all relevant and important.
It's a nice community of like-minded people. You'll see women who are members of the Ka'ahumanu Society, also members of Hula Halal or the Hawaiian Civic
Yeah.
Club. So different Hawaiian.
And it's beautiful when there's a
Hawaiian
holiday like this.
organizations.
Thank you. We really appreciate Olelo broadcasting today. We just love Olelo.
We love
Olelo's
them.
amazing.
Olelo, olelo.
But we involved every year these community organizations. It's not just this time of year that but it's a coming together of people, of organizations, communities. So we love it. We love it. Just thinking I repeated myself 5 times as I was trying to open this Gatorade
You
bottle.
did, but that's okay. I would like to send a special aloha to the Daughters of Hawaii.
You know, the Daughters of Hawaii, without them, we wouldn't have Hulihe'e Palace in Kona or Hanaya Kamalama Queen Emma Summer Palace in
Yes.
Nu'uanu. So I really appreciate them. They also have a seat. And who's our commissioner for the Daughters?
Our commissioner actually for the Daughters of Hawaii resides in Kona, on Kona side. Her name is Kehaulani Keanaina, which is a
We appreciate
Kona
that.
family.
Yeah, we love that we have
Yes.
the Daughters back. The Daughters of Hawaii was a sort of dormant seat for a long time. And they're back and involved again, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
So them and say hi to aloha to Manu Powers, the regent.
Yes,
of
who's
the
also
Daughters.
based in Kona. in
And chair
Kailua,
of the Kona
Kona.
Parade,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
And
So
Ho'olaulea, I think,
I love
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very,
again,
very
community.
involved.
And you know what? Just to throw this out there, we're all volunteers. Everybody's doing this because we love it, and so can you.
Yes,
So
so
join
can you.
us.
Join us.
Join us.
Yes.
Now we're getting ready
Yeah.
as Kavika, Uncle Kavika fixes the lei.
And while he fixes it, I just want to say aloha to, I saw an acquaintance of ours go scooching by.
Scootery.
He's a kumuhula who
Yeah.
is from here, from the Puna district of Hawaii,
Yeah.
but lives in Florida.
Oh, Kona Garcia.
Kona
That's
Garcia.
right. Yeah, big aloha to
Yeah.
him.
And
he tried
he-
to wave, but we were live, so we're like,
Yeah,
"Brother,
we're live. We're
sorry.
sorry. We cannot talk
So we
to
can't
you
afford
right
you.
now.
You can't be on the broadcast with
Come
us.
on. But I want to say aloha to him because he actually, I know he comes at least every year to
That's it.
Hawaii.
You know, I've seen him a few times out
Yes.
here. Yeah.
So
wonderful.
maybe next year he can come
Sure.
and he can participate and his halau can make a lei
We'll
or they
get
can
all
be
of
at a
our
parade.
Hawaiians across the
We'll get them.
who have moved away, living on the continent,
Yes.
living over there in America.
Bring them home.
Come home. June 11th. Come home. Come belong. We're lining up Navahine, the women of Ahui Ka'ahumanu, as they make their way in. And again, they made the 30-foot lei we just saw draped
Yes.
on the statue. And we really mahalo and appreciate everything that they do every year for us.
Each year.
Just let's sit back for a moment and listen to them. We'll give you a break from us. for a moment.
Right here, right?
So happy to have the women of Ahui Ka'ahumanu. The only women that I would allow to obstruct my view is Navahine. The women of Ahui Ka'ahumanu. We're going to sing
We are truly
the lei
honored today
Ka'ahumanu,
Yes.
to be
Legion
here
of
to
Ka'ahumanu.
celebrate King Kamehameha
written
I,
to honor their
also
organization,
known as
their
Kamehameha the Great,
forebearers, and they're going to offer us beautiful
founder
hula.
and first
This is
ruler
also part of
the
their
Kingdom of
ho'okupus, in
Hawaii.
addition to the lei puamili.
Kamehameha I united the Hawaiian kingdom with the help of Ka'ahumanu and her father, High Chief Keaumoku, senior counselor to Kamehameha at that time. And thus, Ka'ahumanu became one of Hawaii's most powerful figures. We, the members of Ahui Ka'ahumanu, honor him today on his special holiday with our lei draping And now we express our love for him through our hula, Ka'ahumanu Ali'i.
Keiki. Let's tune in now to Ahahui Ka'ahumanu.
Oh
That was beautiful. So honored again to have Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu joining us in song and hula and their Le Ho'okupu of 40 Le Puamelia.
Yes.
And now I think a few words from their Pelikikena Pauline Na Mugo. Wonderful. Yeah, you can.
That was wonderful.
Thank you again, Ahuhui Ka'ahumanu, with their gift of song, hula,
and beautiful.
and her beautiful lei,
Puamelia.
beautiful lei, hulu. Mahalo nui again. Here every year, the organization has been stringing the massive amount, gorgeous amount,
Yes.
plethora of lei.
Iconic.
Iconic. It is really. That commemorates this year, every year, this celebration, these festivities. So again, mahalo to them.
It's such a wonderful day, and we're having some nice breezes that are
Really
blowing
is.
in right
Yeah.
now.
Kiwaft,
Thank
my
you
name.
so much.
Yeah, normally we
Yeah.
actually do this lei draping in Honolulu, and later in the afternoon. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, we'll be back on next year later in the day. But oh boy, it's hot. So it's been warm today, but we're grateful for the breezes and a little bit of the blessings from
Yes.
above.
And we're also grateful to have our Governor Ige here with his lovely wife,
Joining
Dawn,
us,
First Lady.
Governor David Ige
Yes.
and First Lady Dawn
Dawn
Ige.
Ige.
Thank you so much to our Governor of the State of Hawaii for being here on our one of two state holidays that honor Ali'i, and the only one to honor a monarch, to honor a king in the
Yes.
entire United States of America. Proud to be
Proud
able
to
to
be,
honor
yeah,
our
Ali'i.
past, present, and future.
Right.
So again, the Honorable David Ige, Governor of the State of Hawaii, and First Lady, Mrs. Dawn Ige. Thank you so much.
And they're presenting a ho'okupu. That's a gift that's wrapped in la'i or tea leaf and then surrounded with beautiful kukui nuts.
Right, it's a beautiful pu'olu.
Yeah, pu'olo.
Pu'olo, kalamai. Beautiful pu'olu, and we appreciate that he's
We're not sure what's
here.
in it.
But it's mystery.
It's a secret.
mystery, yeah.
Yeah. And that's really not for us
And
to
that's
know.
exactly, that's his gift.
That's his gift to
on
the
behalf
king.
of the state of Hawaii.
Yes.
But his gift on the state holiday to Kamehameha, and we'll leave it between them.
Yeah, we don't have a public right to know.
Our current leader and our past leader.
Indeed.
They're sharing, having a moment. The leadership
Yes.
of Hawaii, past and present.
Sharing a moment.
You and I of the future, probably. We'll be co-governors one day, I'm sure. Do they have co-governors? Boom. All right.
Boom.
Well, they will. I'll be vice governor.
I'll
that's
be-
called lieutenant. Sorry.
I'll be the lieutenant governor. A little
Mahalo
less.
to Lieutenant
Kuleana.
Green, Dr. Green as well,
Dr.
for all of his work
Green,
lately.
right. I
Appreciate,
take it back. He
appreciate
does a
him.
lot.
We do appreciate, yeah.
He's from the Big Island too, by the way.
Is he?
Yes, he is
Oh,
from
yeah.
Hawaii.
He's an emergency room doctor, I think, yeah?
Yes, we love
Josh
him.
Green. Mahalo
Dr.
to him,
Green.
former representative.
Yes.
So the Iges here walked over from the Capitol in Washington Place, their residence, the former residence of
Did they
Queen
really?
Liliuokalani. I think they did.
I thought I saw a limousine.
I think they walked. I'm not sure. We
Right there.
appreciate them.
Aloha.
Aloha to the governor and first lady. Thank you
Aloha.
so much.
Nice to
Aloha.
see you. Aloha.
Kainoa Danes. Pony-san. Taniguchi's. I will. My mom said, she says hi as well.
Desiree
nice to
from
see you
Hilo.
folks. Take
Hello.
care. Aloha.
Aloha.
And Desiree
Mahalo
Cruz,
nui.
Miss Hawaii 1988. Okay.
From Hilo.
From Hilo, right. Palolo and Hilo.
MC, your
MC.
fundraiser.
Oh, right, the MC, the fundraiser. I forgot about that. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Uncle Louie.
Uncle Louie, how?
Yeah.
Okay, next,
We have some more VIPs.
we have some more, right?
Yes.
Oh, so excited to see
I see some
the
VIPs.
Mayor?
Mayor Blangiardi.
The mayor of the city and county of Honolulu,
Yes.
offering lei with
Yes.
various heads of his department.
Resplendent in Pua Melia.
We see
Aloha.
the mayor with his MOCA,
Yes,
the Office
and
of Culture and the
Esther
Arts, and some of
Kiaina.
our councilmen are here. Councilman
Tommy Waters.
Tommy Waters, and Councilwoman Esther Hanaina. Hanaina is Chief of Staff, Sam Cook. How you brought Sam? How's it, Sam?
And also
How are you? Nice to see you, Sam
Sam.
Moku. Nice to see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Aloha.
And they're all wearing
and
beautiful
Makanani
lei.
Salah, the executive director
thought
of
she
the
looked familiar.
MOCA, the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts.
Yes.
So
There
the
you go.
Royal Hawaiian Band Director, Band Director Clark Bright,
Is
there in
that-
his uniform.
Is that Eric Gill? Gary Gill? Gary Gill.
Sure.
That might
So
be
members of the
Gary Gill.
cabinet, so city council again represented. We got the mayor here, Mayor Blangiardi,
Yes.
councilwoman Kanaina, no, Kiaina. I'm so sorry,
Kiaina.
Kiaina, Kalamai. Kanaina is the building across the street.
right.
Esther Kiaina. We love you, Esther. We're
Kiaina,
so
we
sorry.
love her.
Imua.
I voted for
And Tommy
her
Waters, both alumni of the
when she ran
Kamehameha
for
schools.
state federal state.
Oh yeah, federal and all of them. So yeah, they're here
we can
with us
vote.
today. We can vote. Bringing lei, Pua Melia.
Oh, is that their lei?
That's their lei, yeah. That was made by
love
the
it.
staff
In the mayor's office.
in the mayor, probably the mayor's office of culture and the arts, headed by Makanani Salah.
Who's wonderful and has a wonderful husband.
Yeah, we love Aaron Salah.
And
yeah, all
children.
graduates of the Kamehameha schools.
Yeah. Wonderful, talented.
So we're
and
glad to have our
I just-
leadership here.
Yes, I just have to say that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really nice to see that
And to be seen.
To
Oh,
be
sorry.
seen, yes, but that that the mayor, Mayor Blangiardi, has on his staff this wonderful culture person.
Really?
Solid.
No, a really good
Yeah,
one.
really. We're like, yes, yes.
So yeah, we appreciate all that has been going on, and I think today was just, for the history books, that today Tier 4 has been announced. The city and county of Honolulu is entering Tier 4 as we're in this pandemic.
What does that mean
Not
exactly?
sure. It means I can take off my mask.
I
No, we
know.
already had the mask
Yeah,
off outside.
we're
For
maskless.
more information, go to hawaiicovid19.com.
Yeah, but we are a pod, you and I.
We're
so,
a family pod, sure.
So we can be,
Well, we've been
maskless.
talking story for hours now, so if one of us had COVID, the other would. So, but yeah, for more information, hawaiicovid19.com to learn more about the tiers of the islands. I mean, the tiers of the pandemic. Excuse me.
T-I-E-R-S.
Oh, T
Is it E-I-R-S?
I-E and Bingo was his name. Oh, yeah,
okay.
that one.
So
Sorry, we're
again,
drinking
the
Gatorade.
city of Hawaii, city and county of Hawaii.
Yeah, so there's the county of Hawaii, Maui County, Kauai County, and the name of this
Honolulu.
county is actually the county of Honolulu. So county name is just Honolulu, County of Honolulu, but we incorporate the city, so that's why it's the city and county of Honolulu.
Well, who knew?
Who knew? Knowing is half the battle.
Who knew?
I knew. Knew.
Yeah, you did know.
And so I believe the capital from Lahaina moved to Oahu in 1850 to Honolulu. And shortly thereafter, the city and county was incorporated.
Okay, and I do have to say that this is a very well-dressed group here.
They turned out.
Yeah, they turned out.
Yeah,
they're
I love
representing.
It. We appreciate them.
We really do appreciate.
And they're taking off their lei. Oh, see, this is a beautiful gesture. This really is a true Hawaiian gesture. To take off your lei and to give to those that you love and you want to honor. And so here we have the mayor and his cabinet and two of our wonderful council people offering their lei as additional lei ho'okupu today at the 149th annual King Kamehameha celebration, lei draping ceremony.
You know, it's just wonderful to see that culture is space is held for culture and budget is allotted
that's
for
an important
culture.
thing. So
Yes.
It's a Kamehameha butterfly flying past us.
Indeed.
The state insect. Look at that. What an omen.
just
Ho'ailona
flew
as the Kamehameha butterfly almost took off Desiree's papale. Oh, Kalamai, we're listening to the mayor. Sorry.
Yeah, anywho, sorry.
No, it really is. Culture's alive and well.
Culture is alive and well, and it's important
yeah.
to recognize the cultural practitioners and what goes into it. It's a lot of time and heart
Energy,
and sweat and money
and tears.
too, frankly.
Tears in that case.
Yeah, tears too.
Tears and tears. Tears of the tears.
Yeah, so this is
appreciated. So again, the governor of the
very
state of
much
Hawaii and now the
appreciated.
mayor of the largest county in the state, the city and county of Honolulu.
Yes. Mayor Blangiardi.
Mayor Blangiardi.
He's
this
off
is
to a
his
good
first
start.
Kamehameha Day.
Yes.
And or second. No, first one. His first one. His first one.
Yeah, his first
And
one.
we're off with a bang. And we really want to mahalo you, Mayor, because we're going to go big next year for the 150th.
Thank
so
you.
We're going to need some
We're
extra
gonna be talking
permits
to you,
next
yeah.
year. We're
Thank
going
you,
to
Mayor
need some
Blangiardi.
extra kokua next year, please,
Yeah.
Mayor. So
Yes.
thank you, everybody.
And to
We're going to take
his
a picture.
administration.
I think we're going to take
Aloha.
a picture. This is for the yearbook. It's for the yearbook.
I
This is
love
going to go
this.
in Honolulu Hale. Right
And
outside the
look
Lua.
at,
No, just kidding. What?
Council person
Esther.
Kia
Aina.
Kia Aina.
Kia Aina is actually Hawaiian for governor.
Oh.
You know, so in her,
Oh.
it's in her root leadership and lobbying. It's in
Kia
her roots.
Aina.
So Kia Aina. Hey,
Yes,
no, Kia
I
Aina.
love her lehulu.
So really big mahalo to
Yeah,
the city
she's
and county.
throwing down.
Please, Pikachu, please.
Pikachu.
All right, I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
we appreciate the leadership of Hawaii
Yeah,
once
yeah.
again. Just
Here
a few
they
minutes before
are.
Governor Ige and now the mayor, the city and county of Honolulu. We appreciate him. His cabinetry.
Oh, not the shaka.
That was like the perfectly
Whoa,
timed shaka.
throwing
I've
down.
never. That was like they practiced
Whoa.
that. I think Makanani had them practicing their shaka.
1, 2, 3. I think so.
That was fantastical. So we didn't practice. That was great.
Yeah,
so we just
that
want
was
to big
good.
aloha.
That was
We're going to
good.
wave them out. Thank you.
Aloha.
Thank you, Mayor.
Aloha, mahalo,
Thank
City and County of
you. Thank you
Honolulu.
to the-
Aloha, Mayor's office.
Thank you, City and County, for being here. We appreciate
Mahalo
you.
nui.
We're going to need all your
Mahalo.
support next year.
Aloha.
Sorry, Esther, we screwed up your name only once. We're
Only
so sorry.
once.
We really.
But we
we're still live,
clarified.
so we're still live. So come say hi to Esther. It's Esther Kia Aina. Kia Aina, we appreciate you. And we
Nice
love you
to
guys.
see
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, mahalo
for
nui.
tune in. So we're here as we're beginning to wind down and wrap up. We run out, we think what a great day. Desiree Cruz from the island of
Yes,
Hawaii, our
a beautiful,
island of
beautiful
Hawaii
day.
commissioner. She flew all the way over from Hilo
I
this
did.
morning.
I did.
I was on the same flight. We were in Hilo last night, so we're
Yes.
glad to be here today. My name is Kainoa Danes. Represent the Royal Order of Kamehameha. What an
Yes.
honor to represent these noble brethren. We have moku on every island, chapters on every island. We really appreciate that and them and all the Royal Societies, all the commissioners. If we miss anyone, kalamai, but we think we got through everybody.
Yep.
Again, Amy Hammond, our executive director, big mahalo to her. Bev, Clint, we have some sponsors. I'm going to try in real fast. We have State Foundation, Kala Foundation, Kanu Hawaii, Papakolea Community Association,
Yes.
Aloha Bills Party Rental, and 21 Degrees Estate Cacao Farm. I never got any chocolate, but we want to mahalo them, and especially Olelo for being here with us today and being able to bring this broadcast home to you
Yes.
safely and comfortably
To share
as we
it.
wrap up this pandemic. We're getting through the worst of it all. We appreciate everybody's safety and distancing.
And we're looking forward to next year, the 150th celebration.
150th anniversary of the King Kamehameha celebration. Mahalo and aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you so much.
hold it right.